Greetings, this is Warrior King, and the time has come for the lions and the lioness to tell their own story. This is the lion's voice. Give thanks and praise for the wonderful blessing that's been poured on me. Give thanks and praise. Jah use I as an instrument to set the people free. Jah give her the powers to chant. Jah give her the powers to chant. Ras Tafari, the lion's voice.
This is Mama Thea of Askale Pure, and when I want to hear the story from the lion and the lioness, I listen to Lion Voice with Ras Bonsu.
Incidentally, by the way, I've got a picture, that goodbye picture, when Ras McConnell was going off to the Battle of Adwa, he had His Majesty sit on David's throne, on his throne. And that picture has now been discovered, and I have it in the calendar in Judah month, where His Majesty is sitting on the throne at 4 years old. Look.
Yes, that picture.
And honestly, as soon as I put it online, it's everywhere.
Everywhere. Yeah,
I was the one putting it online in a Virgin.
Okay.
This was one of my first pictures from the calendar that I put on. I shared. I couldn't help myself.
That shook up the heavens. That shook up the heavens. Because that is the whole of the internet. That was the same year as Adwa that picture was taken too.
Exactly. Yeah, he was. Ras McConnell, I researched it. Ras McConnell was going to war, the Battle of Adwa War. And this was the picture of his son that he wanted it to carry with him, the photograph that he took with him. You remember, Ethiopia had photography long before anybody else, in the world, Because we're talking 1896. See him at 4 years old? Look at him at 4 years old with his little brethren then.
That is a powerful picture.
Very powerful picture, you see me? Yeah, because, we research these things. We have to make it. Because this is why we get the inspiration to do one year after year after year. It has to be something new. And the inspiration is new because the nation, family is in need of this. I is in need of it. I get this inspiration to do it and find these researching, but I don't collectively have the information within me like that. It's a spiritual connection that brings it out. That says, yeah, that's have to go in. And then I learn about the thing. It's the movement. You see, when you have, just a handful of faithful ones, people get soft out all over the place now in the movement, of Rastafari. There's in 3 parts, okay? It's the liberty.
What I say, Mama Askale, is that we never chant the chosen many at Anaya Bingi. It was always the chosen few. You know what I mean? So we can't be surprised. Yeah, we cannot be surprised in the Gideon when we see there's only a few standing.
Yeah.
But what we need to do is those few need to connect more tighter. And because no longer local mobilization, it's a global mobilization now. Fire angels and the like minds. Because we have to find the like minds. We can't spend time and argue with people. We have to find the like minds.
There's no time for them to be again, People don't even know. There's people that's stuck in certain things that are a long time already gone and stuck and not going nowhere. And especially now, you have so many platforms now, them just yaggity. Them can't talk and stuff. But really and truly, where's the action? Pan in Africa. I've always kind of, had a little discrediting of that. Because it seems to me that many ones are aware of the greatness of Africa, but they'd rather stay outside of Africa and pan it, like just look inside, and do maybe once in a while, maybe they tend to be like Garvey. He never actually made it, but a man of his stature, he should have made the effort to be in Africa. I mean, Father, forgive me. Only what the Almighty wills. You know what I mean?
Yes,
in that regard as well. But it's like almost like an effort was being made because, but at the same time, that's how I'm using that analogy to talk about the Pan-African movement. You know, that's I see kind of like that. Like you can say everything about Africa that you like from outside of Africa because it's something that belongs in the West. The Pan African movement, to me, in these times, is something that belongs in the West. And the only thing that the Pan African movement can do, you know, is actually um, support African countries from the West, as opposed to them having to go to the IMF or people like that. If you're
Yes.
really strong as a Pan-Africanist, really, you should be in a position to say, like, even Burkina Faso now, you should be able to send 25 carpenters to go there, knowing that they're going to get full work. Not just, you know, listen, remember, is Bob Marley introduced me to Gadman, Gadman.
Okay.
Did I tell you about that? I was working at Top Gun and Bob told me that his office is like a bedroom, film quarters. You have to pass my office to go to him quarters. I would
Okay.
be like the living room to film quarters, like,
Yeah, yeah.
as you were going to, and then you have to go in. Anyway, so him office really. And so everybody who come to see him at Top Gun have to pass my office. If I'm in office, then they have to pass my desk. So
Yes.
when I'm in office, we question them hard. And he loved that. Yeah, because I met Prince Emmanuel, I met Gadman, you know what I mean? All of
Yes.
the leaders of Ras Tafari movement coming through there, you see me, to come and see him. And as well as singers and players of instruments. But anyway, what I'm saying is that his when Gadman come, he told me it was Gadman. He told me say Gadman was gonna come. So when he reached now, him come and he was respectful. So I showed him. I just go to the door and say, Gadman is here, and he go in. He said, no, come, sis. Right. So when we go in, him say, yeah, man, this is Gadman. Him say, you have anything where you want to ask him? You go ahead like that. You have anything where you want to ask him? So I say, yeah. What is the purpose of the 12 tribes of Israel? And you say, what? Hear him. Rotted. Nobody never asked me that like that yet. He said, God damn. So I said, oh, but can you answer the question? Because, I'm English lady, innit? So, can you answer the question, though? I asked him. He's like, what? And he said, yeah, the purpose of it, the purpose of the 12 tribes of Israel is to know yourself. I said, oh, I love that. Sign me up.
Well, lion voice, tell them that's the people first choice. Lion voice, make the lioness them feel nice. Lion voice, with the lion cubs we sacrifice. Lion voice, got to show the people them the life. Lion voice.
The year is 1892, and the land of Ethiopia has been experiencing 4 years of terrible famine and drought. They call it the Kikuken, or the Evil Days. At least one-third of the human population and 90% of the cattle have died. The hyenas have feasted on so many carcasses that they have become overweight and barely able to move. Just when the people could take no more of the evil days, a woman named Wasiro Yeshimabet is giving birth in a place called Ergersa Gora. This is her 9th attempt to bring forth new life. Her previous 8 attempts only resulted in death. Will this child live? Thankfully, a healthy baby boy is born. His first cries are drowned by thunder and lightning flashes across the night sky. The heavens open up and torrential rain starts to fall. Ethiopia's drought is over, and the baby boy is given the name Jabara, meaning one to be feared or respected. Ras Tafari's father, Ras Menen, is a very important man in 1892 Ethiopia. Although he is overjoyed at the birth of his newborn son, he cannot spend much time with him. Ras McCunnan is the governor of Harar and must get back to the famous walled city to deal with its affairs. Furthermore, he is the foreign minister of Ethiopia, and having traveled to different places in Europe, he is very aware of the material and military advances they have made and the looming threats they pose to his country. Ras McCunnan knows that the majority of Ethiopians have no idea what is coming, and that he has to work that much harder to secure the realm. H. Tafari would grow up to become the legendary emperor, Haile Selassie I. To understand his journey, we must first understand the Ethiopia that he was inheriting and what it was like when he was born in 1892. Get your copy of Kwesi Bansu's book, Haile Selassie I, Ethiopia, Volume 1, The Rise of the Priestly Warrior Kings, and increase your knowledge about the history, politics, and culture of Ethiopia in 1892, and how it connects to the rest of African and world history at the time. Haile Selassie I, Ethiopia, Volume 1 is available for purchase at www.bookmanexpress.pub. Please visit for more information.
September, Shashamani month, it's like the Ethiopian calendar, this calendar, okay? It starts in September like the Ethiopian calendar, and it goes all the way to December 2026. So
Okay.
what you have is 16 months. Many people don't know, have discovered that the Ethiopian calendar in its origin has 13 months, yeah, 12 months of exactly 12 months of exactly 30 days, and 1 month of 5 days, Pagume, which we are actually, no, we passed Pagume. Oh, no, we haven't. We're actually in Pagume now, aren't we? Because where are we? The 5th of September. Today is actually a public holiday in Ethiopia. It's the Islamic day because it's the Prophet's birthday today,
Oh,
celebrated in the Islamic world today as the Prophet's birthday. And tomorrow is the beginning of the new month of Pagumene, which is actually just 5 days. Can you believe that? I believe that Ethiopians celebrate those 5 days. They just keep celebrating for the whole 5 days till September 11th comes, and the new year is with us. This is a calendar that dates before Christ. So it was by no accident that September 11th was chosen as the day for the great American Holocaust against its own people. Yeah, yeah. Um, so very interesting. You can become an expert on all the African independence nations because
okay.
their flag colors and dates of independence are all labeled inside very
Yes, it's a
clearly.
Pan-African. Talk about that part of the calendar. It's a Pan-African calendar.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. And not while I'm on the subject of the flag colors, so is all the Caribbean countries who've been independent. All of them are also there. That education is firmly in there for all of I and I to know. We know that in reality we have not gained the independence, but we are on it. Okay, we are on it. So October is Kush month, and in that month we usually feature African theme. So this year we featured nursery schools started by Rastafari women, not just Rastafari women, but Nyabingi siblings in South Africa, because they're all from the Nyabingi house. They featured nurseries across different parts of the country, and that's what we featured for this particular October 2025. But it's the beginning of the Pan African sweep of our calendar because you know Pan in Africa.
Mm-hmm.
I've always kind of you know had a little discrediting of that because it seems to me that many ones are aware of the greatness of Africa, but they'd
Yeah.
rather stay outside of Africa and pan it, like just look inside, and do maybe once in a while, maybe they be, they tend to be like Garvey. He never actually made it. But, you know, a man of his stature, he should have made the effort to be in Africa. I mean, Father, forgive me. Okay, only what the Almighty wills. You know what I mean? In
Yes.
that regard as well. But it's like almost like an effort was being made because, but at the same time, that's how I'm using that analogy to talk about the Pan African movement. You know, I see it kind of like that. Like you can say everything about Africa that you like from outside of Africa because it's something that belongs in the West. The Pan African movement, to me, in these times, is something that belongs in the West. And the only thing that the Pan African movement can do, you know, is actually um, support African countries from the West, as opposed to them having to go to the IMF or people like that. If you're
Yes.
really strong as a Pan-Africanist, really, you should be in a position to say, like, even Burkina Faso now, you should be able to send 25 carpenters to go there, knowing that they're going to get full work. Not just, you know, listen, I have never seen Europe and Canada and even America begging people to come there to work and giving them visas free to come. It's only since Chori, Burkina Faso, only since Burkina Faso said, come, you got free entry, man, to
Mm.
these countries and more. People come. Come, let's help. Let's build up this thing. Let's make this thing great and great. He said that, right? He made that invitation and suddenly Canada is offering work for simple layman work, like, you know, um, salespeople, warehouse men. Come on. What is that? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And they're sending that information to the black world. It's not. So of course they want people to jump on it and not go to Burkina Faso. You see what I'm saying? They don't want nobody to be great. They want people to still be remaining with them in their claws. So that's a move that they're doing. It's a current thing that's happening right now. I see that going on. So what I'm saying, the Pan African movement, many believe that it started with, yeah, we know about the Mr. Williams and so on and so forth. But guess what? Guess who knew about them first? His name was Ras McConnell.
Mm-hmm.
Ras McConnell, the foreign minister of Emperor Menelik, who, by the way, was the first person to give the decree for land to prepare for the black people to come home from the West. It was
Mm.
Emperor Menen who gave that decree that land be
Okay.
made available in Ethiopia for the black people to come from the West. Okay? So now, Emperor Menelik, his foreign minister, his right hand man to the West, because he himself didn't travel from Ethiopia. But Ras McConnell traveled widely, widely. When he went to Europe, um, just after the Battle of Adwa. Incidentally, by the way, I've got a picture, that goodbye picture, when West McConnell was going off to the Battle of Adwa. He had His Majesty sit on David's throne, on the throne. And that picture has now been discovered, and I have it in the calendar in Judah month, where His Majesty is sitting on the throne at 4 years old. Look.
Yes, that picture
And
I
honestly, as
remember.
soon as I put it online, it's
Yeah,
everywhere.
everywhere.
I
Yeah, man.
put I was the one putting it online in a Virgin. This was one
Okay.
of my first pictures from the calendar that I put on. I shared. I couldn't help
That
myself.
shook up.
I
That
shared
shook up
that
the
picture.
heavens. That
I'm
shook up the
telling
heavens
you,
because that
the
is
whole
the
the
same
whole
year
of
as
the
Adwa.
internet.
That was the same year as Adwa. That picture was taken too.
Exactly. Yeah, he was Ras McConnell. I researched it. Ras McConnell was going to war, the Battle of Adwa War. And this was the picture of his son that he wanted. It to carry with him the photograph that he took
Wow.
with him. You remember, Ethiopia had photography long before anybody else, in the world, Because we're talking 1896. See him at
Yeah.
4 years old? Look at him at 4 years old with his
Oh,
little brethren then.
that is a
You
powerful
see me?
picture.
Very powerful picture. You see me? Yeah, because we research these things. We have to make it because this is why we get the inspiration to do one year after year after year. It has to be something new, and the inspiration is new because the nation family is in need of this. I is in need of it. I get this inspiration to do it and find these researching, but I don't have the I don't collectively have the information within me like that. It's a spiritual connection that brings it out. That says, yeah, that's have to go in. And then I learn about the thing. It's only on the day I've been going to Victory Square for many decades, not lie, in the spirit, of course, but since my time in Ethiopia, because May the 5th was my first time there, right? And
Yes.
May the 5th is celebrated all over the world by Ras Tafari people as Liberation Day for Ethiopia, Ethiopian Victory Day, right? It was the
Yes. Yeah.
victory against the Italians in 1941. Now, this in the square is an obelisk that was built, right? And it was
Mm-hmm.
built before the war, in fact. Okay. It was built before the Italians invaded. Now, the thing is, the obelisk has certain prophecies on it because it's written, it's carved in Amharic.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And it's only after all these years of taking pictures by this obelisk, right? Because I've gone to several marches. There's Yekatit Asira Ulet, the day the Italians slaughtered 30,000 Ethiopians. The
Yes.
elders, the patriots, still march on that day, you get me, in
Okay.
memory of that. There's May the 5th, that's me as the Ayasabat by Ethiopian calendar, yeah? Um, and other days. His Majesty Earthstrong. I'm not usually in Ethiopia. I'm usually in England because that's the time I'm printing the calendar.
Okay.
But usually, when I've been in the past in Ethiopia before I got the calendar on a regular, before my time was regular, as it were, in my life like that. So in those days, the patriots always kept a ceremony for His Majesty, and I always was invited, and I always invited the Rastafari community to come with me to make sure that everybody come and see the love for His Majesty in Ethiopia and bless us in that way. You get me? The highest respect and love for I, showed on I. Not like living in Shashamani where the people them want to go on like. You see me?
Yes.
But
Yes. Yes.
anyway, I read for them, I said, you're Ethiopian by blood. You're Ethiopian by geography. I'm Ethiopian by blood. You understand? So you
Yes.
can't take it out. You can't take it out of me. You can't wait to go to foreign. You're Ethiopian by geography. You know what I mean? And then they go, oh, those who are on it. They say, oh, no, 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 I'm Ethiopian by blood as well. They say. And I go, give me high five. Right answer. I'm telling you, it's just pure joy like this in my life. But anyway, I found the discovery that on the obelisk is written the prophecy, in the Bible where the disciples asked him, um, ask of God or ask of Jesus. We usually going to no, okay. So prophet and victory square. Matthew 24, verse 3. The disciples asked the hour of Jesus' return. They asked him when he was gonna come back, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And this is on the obelisk. Remember, this is in
Yeah.
Victory Square. Okay. His Majesty was away for 5 years. Okay.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
So it said, the disciples asked the hour of Jesus' return. In Matthew 24, verse 36, it states that only the Father knows. Only Father knows the time or the hour, of Jesus' return. Right? Now
Mm-hmm.
look at this. His Imperial Majesty left Ethiopia on May the 5th, 1936.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
And he returned on May the 5th, 1941.
Mm-hmm.
The clock on the obelisk stood still at the time that he left because it was the same hour that he returned.
Mm.
So this is the victory that is more the victory in Victory Square. And the Lion of Judah is on top of the obelisk, you know. Okay. And this is written in Amharic on the obelisk, man. And it's the first time I got that translation because Father sent me an Ethiopian Rasta girl who she'd never been in the Rasta community. She just knew that he got the vibration and got the spirit and started to read, you know. And then she come to me because she heard about me. Mama Sky, she heard and she come. And it was beautiful because I was just taking her around. She's like, she came with us. I invited her to come to Victory Square as I do the Rastafari, you know, because I got to fly the flag. I'm the
Yeah.
flag bearer.
Yes.
I'm the flag bearer. I have to keep that going no matter what. And so we were there on the obelisk, and that's when he started to read interpretation. But Brother Keep, yes, was also there. He he said, "Oh, do you know there's a prophecy on there, but I don't know what it is. I've been told by one of the patriots,
Yeah.
you know, that there's a prophecy there." He said. So I just called Bertica and I said, "Come, please, come and read that for me. Read what for us, what it says." And she walked around and read it in Amharic, and then she
Say it
come back
again.
and
Say it again for the
she
people.
walked around the obelisk. She walked around the obelisk.
So what did the prophecy say?
The prophecy said the disciples asked Jesus about his return, the time, the hour of
Yes.
his return, hour, H-O-U-R. Hmm? And in Matthew it says the disciples asked the hour of Jesus' return in Matthew 24 verse 3. So Matthew 24 verse 36 states that only the Father knows the hour of Jesus' return.
Yeah.
So he himself knows the hour of his return. And that's why the clock stopped on May the 5th, 1936, when he left Ethiopia. It was 7 o'clock in the morning, which incidentally in Ethiopia, it's 1 o'clock,
Okay.
according to the
So
Ethiopian clock. Because
so the prophecy
hmm?
say all that what you say, or it is condensed into a,
No. It's Matthew 24, verse 36, and Matthew 24, verse 3.
or
Yeah,
just, or those Bible verses
that's the
inscripted
prophecy
on it.
from the Bible. Right, exactly. And then the
So
reality
what
of the
happened to the
story of
people
it.
who born the Bible? How them are gonna deal with that one day?
Eh, eh, Massa, you me say, they're completely off, man. Just ego and ego, but them gone, man. They want to override everything. His Majesty glorified and is glorified in the Bible. So once
Mm-hmm.
you start doing that, you're just talking that you're not glorifying him. You understand
Mm-hmm.
me? I don't know why you bother to call yourself a Rasta if you're in that position, to be honest. But then again, it's just ego. You're trying to be bigger than the Father. So you
Yeah.
feel that somehow, I don't know if somebody feel that they can, some people just want to challenge certain things.
Yes.
Some people just
But
go
I
for them
what I
neck.
realized too, because every knee shall bow and every tongue confess,
Um,
not
yes,
everyone come from that Israelite Iris. You know what I
They want
mean?
to look like
So
I,
you have all kind of tribes, Kemet, you have all the
Mm,
different nations, and because of the
mm.
divine power, they have to heal him.
Yes,
However, but they try to
it's
also
not a,
undermine his teaching, and these are the things
absolutely.
that I'm saying is that,
Divide and rule.
yeah, let
Divide
us,
and rule.
if you are using the banner of Rastafari, it's not prudent to undermine the teaching of His Majesty. It's better you just keep
Definitely.
quiet, keep it to
Just don't
yourself.
bother talk to me.
Yes, ponder.
You know why you're not from you?
Yeah, we'll
You
ponder
know why
silent.
because I
Ask
recognize that it's here. It's pure ego. Don't bother come talk about, oh, you know, there's a famous one at the moment online,
Yeah,
in his mouth. And I'm not gonna have to call no name. But
yeah,
really, there was a claim that there's 3 million Rastafari in South Africa. And as soon as he came out of his mouth, I told him, fire. If there was 1 million, if there was only 1 million Rastafari in South Africa, the place would change.
yes,
If there was only 1 million alone. So please don't insult Rastafari name with telling people that 3 million and not change from apartheid. I see people practicing apartheid against each other. And xenophobia is so rampant
yes,
everywhere. And people just keep to themselves as them is colored, so them keep the way they and the other one still are separated. Them still under apartheid, even within the rest of our community. Generally, we love the fact that people are trying to change the thing. You see what I'm saying? But behind closed doors, they're just doing the same thing like they do, like apartheid system. You know what I mean?
yeah, yeah,
So basically, people say, "Oh yeah, yeah, I've got so many investors working for you," but really and truly, them have the investors work for them like slaves, same land apartheid, same way. You see me? Because I've gone there and experienced it where I've gone to, okay. I've gone to a big house that was bought my bridgings, couple of bridges from England. I bought some woolly land over there and built a massive, beautiful house, and obviously green, gold, and red painted on outer walls, everywhere, flag flying, all of that on the highway. You get me? Like this, and very beautiful place. So when they were coming back and reporting to us in England, their talk was that it was a repatriation home. And the idea was, seeing as though the best life that the elders ever had coming from Jamaica has always been with the ones in England. Yeah.
yes,
So that the ones will come here and really everybody get looked after properly. You understand me? And is able to shop and do things like this to bring back home. People them just tell people what they want and people shop for them and bring it. You understand me? Bring it to
yes,
them. Many experiences like that I've had with ones and ones and give them money to go back and develop the daughters' quarters and things like that. I've worked on projects with the youth them do things like that from the England to give the elders money to go back. Them wasn't elders at that, but never mind. To give ones and ones from the Nile Bingy money to go back and develop the daughters' quarters, put in window and door. And then 14 years later, I got the doors in one door, a window on it. But never mind that. What I'm saying is that, um, you know, the movement, you see, when you have, just a handful of faithful ones, people get soft out all over the place now in the movement, of
yeah.
Rastafari. There's in 3 parts, okay? It's the
But
liberty.
what I say, Mama Skull, is that we never chant the chosen many at Anaya Bingi. It was always the chosen few. You know what I
You
mean?
are
So we can't be
restricting
surprised.
your own property.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
cannot be surprised in the Gideon when we see there's only a few standing.
Yeah.
But what we need to do is those few need to connect more tighter, and because
Yes, man. It becomes strength
no
and work
longer
together.
local mobilization, it's a global mobilization now.
Yeah.
To
Yes,
connect
for
with the
real.
fire
For real.
angels and the like minds, because we have to find the like
Mm-mm.
minds. We can't spend time and argue with people. We have to find
Mm-mm.
the like
There's no
minds.
time for them thing there again. People don't
No,
even know. There's people that stuck in certain things that are a long time already gone already and stuck and not going nowhere. And especially now, you have so many platforms now, them just yaggity, 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 yaggity. Them can't talk and stuff. Blah, blah, blah. But really and truly, where's the action?
where's the
It's
action?
a global, you should be able to mobilize the people globally into one thing so you can do something, boom, and don't be fighting each group or say, oh, because we have 3 million Rastas in South Africa. We should be the leaders of the whole Rastafari nation worldwide. Excuse me? Sorry. You mean you want to bring us all under apartheid system and then tell us that we're all simple because we're serving His Majesty? I know you have your Ubuntu sitting or go on like we don't know. We are Ubuntu. What are you talking about? We are the live faith of His Imperial Majesty. We are the ones who are carrying the torch of this. It's not a joking. It just comes to you in that way, and you feel that, oh, you're overpowered. You have numbers. Listen, you have numbers, but what are you doing with it? Hmm? What are you doing with it, man? You see me? That's why I say if you had 1 million, you'd certainly be a force to be working together. Yeah,
Yes.
it's great that you have 3 million people that say they're aligning themselves to the
Yes.
movement of Rastafari,
I
right?
talked
But you
to
see,
I have an interview with my sister in sister Mimi in South Africa, and I
mm-hmm.
asked her the question. She said she don't feel that there's a million. She feel if generously maybe around 500,000 or something
You see that?
in
You see that?
thousand.
Let alone 3 million that the
Yes,
man I run up in mouth and I talk
yes.
about
But
all them.
I'm not gonna speak to the virgin that you're talking to, but I'm just saying that
No,
those numbers
yeah,
have been
no,
questioned. Those numbers have been questioned.
have to be,
Um,
have to
and
be.
and one of the things that we have to do as Rastafari, and that's what I'm trying to do with this platform, because even this platform I learned, I have 52,000 subscribers, but I only have 41 monthly subscribers. So there's a big gap between the ones them who are casual and the
Yes,
ones
yes,
them who want to see the thing move forward and want to
yes,
see change. So we realize that um, there might be a lot of people who are casually, they go a reggae show, them wave a flag, them, they love the vibes. But in term, they're hobbyists, maybe they're Rastafari on the weekend. And
yes,
but in terms
all of
of,
that.
you know what I mean? But in terms of people
Yes,
who have given their life, who ready for build the alternative, you know what I mean? That is not a big number. I'm convinced that is not a huge number globally. It's growing, but we have to be realistic and we have to understand that there's a difference between a casual person who just love the Irie vibes and Caribbean culture and African culture. They love the Pan African vibes and the
yeah,
people who really see His Majesty as the Almighty and are ready to serve in real life. That is a smaller number,
yeah, yes,
and those
indeed.
are the ones then we have to gather because that the nucleus of building that alternative, build the vision that His Majesty come and instruct us to build. Because we got instructions, you know,
Absolutely,
and
absolutely.
the ones them who don't cite His Majesty, they're not busy with that vision. They're doing
Mm-mm.
their own thing.
No,
So we
yeah,
have to be clear. We
stay on it.
can yeah, we can have unity with the Pan African family, but we have to be clear in terms of who is really the ones who cite up His Majesty,
Absolutely,
and
absolutely.
that's how we avoid the conflict because we spend too much time arguing with people who don't even cite the king to begin with, and so it become a conflict.
It become a conflict because look, I mean, we recognize the EWF as a Pan-African organization. It's not a
Yes,
Rastafari
it's not a
organization.
Rasta. I say that to Brethren all the
I've been
time.
saying that from ever since because
Yes,
look, I became a member of the EWF on baptism in 1979 in Jamaica.
yes,
You understand me? Because when you were baptized, it was called at the time, it was called the Ethiopian Orthodox Tawahedo Faith. It wasn't called a church. It
yeah.
was called Ethiopian Orthodox Tawahedo Faith. And I was working at Top Gun. And now I take the job as publisher, working. And I was working at Top Gun, but I was seconded to the church to work with the Abba 1 day a week. And it
Hmm.
so happened that the Abba was living up the road from where I was living. So whenever I'm working with him or on Sundays, I would get a lift in his car to go home. So it was like I was now being envied by the people in the church who's known him all this time. And there's me come along, I'm he's a Rasta as well. I'm not letting go of my Rastafari faith, you see me? Because it took me I worked with him for a whole year. He never demanded that I got baptized. because he know who he knew, you know what I mean? He knew who I am, and he knows also that I'm also, you know, holy enough to do the work that is required of me for him in his works.
Yes.
If you get what I'm saying, clean enough, put it like that. You know,
Yes.
we were around, it wasn't the same for all these other people who was insisting on being bald people in the Ethiopian Orthodox Church, because all the man, most of the brethren were who in 1970, what's the mistake now? In 1970, His Majesty sent Abuna, he was Abba Mandefo, to the Western Hemisphere to start with Jamaica. 4 years after his visit to Jamaica, you know, when His Majesty saw that the growth of the people, they needed the church, yeah, church and state. The EWF is the state, and the church is the Ethiopian Orthodox Tower of Faith, as it was called, as I said at the time. So he sent the Abba to the Western Hemisphere, starting in Jamaica and to widen to the Western Hemisphere. What was his title? I was Secretary PA to the Abba of the Ethiopian Orthodox Tawahid of Faith of the Western Hemisphere.
Wow.
Okay, big title. You get me? And you know, as a Rastafari, so you know, the thing was that I didn't always go to church on a Sunday because a few times I went, I was that was my day off anyway. You get what I'm saying? Well, of course,
Yeah.
I'm a love my company. He loved my company, so it was, you know, it was always when I do go to church, I was always, you know, being called in his office for something, you know, whatever. Anyway, what I'm saying is that the people were operating like regular Christian people in the church. That's what they were doing. That was turning me off. You
Okay.
understand, from the thing, because they weren't getting the teachings of the church was not really coming through to them in the way that it should. You know what I mean? Like, because Abba was busy establishing the church and being the world figure of the church, so it wasn't about the church as a spirit or as a faith. You get me? His
Yeah.
development was not about that so much as the world, as the whole global thing, as it were. Anyway, years later, His Majesty sent Abba Elias, who was my Abba now, who
Mm-hmm.
told me by the time I'm working with him now, because by this time Abba Mandefa is now going to New York, and he love New York more than him
Yes.
love Jamaica. You know, the first thing is you have to know is because there's a bigger Ethiopian community in America, in New York, or
Yes.
all over America you could go. And they've got the church over there already. So it's not so much hard, you know what I mean? It's not like Jamaica where you have to be, he's the one have to be pushing the thing in the Caribbean and the
Yeah.
thing, the
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like, he wasn't, he was equipped to do it. Obviously, his majesty wouldn't have sent him if he wasn't. And he did
Yes.
a great, fantastic job in being all over the world and doing it and strengthening the nation. But Abba Elias now was the spiritual person of the church. So, you know, I was so blessed to and honored to work with him. And he said to me, you know, Askale, he called me, this was him, he's calling me Askale, you know, I'm not baptized yet, you know. He's calling me
Yes.
Askale. In the church, you know, I'm the secretary. I'm the one who's got the names book, the Ethiopian church names book. You understand that? That's something that we keep in the office. I'm the secretary and I've got access to that. So I'm reading up on the names, them of the meanings of the names. And I've read Askale and, you know, I mean, and I'm like, okay. So then he's calling me Askale. He said, you know, he'd rather call me that because I see. And then there were times when he called me Askale Selassie, and there's times when he called me Askale Mariam, right? So now I'll get from him the explanation. And then I started to understand why he was like that. Because when he called me Askale Mariam was the times when I was being really political and standing up for women and children and family and you know
Okay.
and saying, oh, they shouldn't be doing that thing, man, because that's not helping the children and da 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 da, da. And so he said, Askali Mariam, come, it's okay, you know. And you know, I always felt that I could always express myself as a Rastafari in front of them in that way, in front of him especially in that way, because he was more spiritual for me. He was more important in, you know. in my guidance. Because he wanted to talk about Ethiopia, what was going on in Ethiopia, and how the church was in Ethiopia, and how he grew up in the church from a child, you see me? And he was a church scholar that I knew because he spoke all the languages of the church, right? And that's a whole bunch of language, Armenian, Russian, Greek, you know, all of them stuff there, he
Mm-hmm.
spoke, and plus all the languages in Ethiopia. Yes, he was the scholar, the linguist, top linguist of the church. I didn't know till many years later when I've arrived in Ethiopia for the first time and I've just gone out. I'm in Addis Ababa, staying in Addis Ababa. And
Yes.
you know, it's actually incidentally with a secretary of mine in from the UK who had now become a full-fledged Rasta and had repatriated to to Ethiopia with her husband, Kingman, and had lived in Ethiopia after being my secretary for many years. So therefore I was able to stay in her place, even though she was back in England. I was able to stay in her place in Addis Ababa, you know. So I was in Addis, so it was easy enough. I just go out and just walk around, yeah. And I just did that. I just walked around, man. I just walked. I didn't bother take no taxi or nothing. I just walked around, just going directions. And then, all kind of miracles happen every day. And then one day I was in the area and I kept seeing all these priests,
Mm-hmm.
Orthodox priests wearing the same robes that my Abba used to wear, the same color, like, a navy blue with a red stripe down it, you know what I mean? Them kind of way, but not that obvious. A humble stripe, like, and
Mm-hmm.
purple as well, like this. And I see them, I'm like, oh wow. Suddenly, after 35 years, I remembered my Abba. Rasta. It was quite an incredible miracle for me because that day I was on my own and, I kept seeing him. So eventually, as soon as I remembered him, like, because I didn't remember, I was just looking at his gun and thinking, wow, this is so familiar to me. This is so familiar to me. And then when I remembered him, the first priest that looked like him that reminded me, I just stopped him and I asked him, Abba Elias, do you know Abba, do you know Abba Elias? After 35 years, I'm not seeing the man, The priest just pointed, he just turned and pointed to me and showed me. I was standing outside of the headquarters of the Ethiopian Orthodox Church in Addis Ababa.
Right.
And I never even saw that. I never even knew that that's where. I was just wondering how come so much of them. And then I saw all these shops with all church shops, as they do with all the candles and everything, right? I saw that, but I still didn't see the building. But anyway, when he said that, I went straight inside and they wouldn't let me talk. They wouldn't said no, they didn't understand my talk, my English at all, right? They refused the English altogether. So I said, no problem, I'll come back, right? And then the very next day, I went with my daughter, right? And two of us have cameras in our bags. And most places in Egypt, when you go there, you can't carry a camera inside. It used to be like that. You can't carry a camera inside, right?
Yes.
Anyway, so when we got to the gates of the church, they took my camera from my bag, but they never. But I noticed this in Africa before. There's an ancestral spirit that goes with me. That sometimes, if people are not so good, they just want to rebel against me. They just want to fight me for no reason. Like, you know what I mean? I've experienced it in Ghana where the guard came down the steps chasing me after I paid the money at the gate to come in. He's sitting up the top of the stairs and the man spotted me. And me and him, I make four, as we say, you know, like the focus gain for 1 second, just this person. And I didn't know this person, and I didn't acknowledge that person, but because our eyes met like that, I felt a vibration. And next thing I know, the man jumped out of his seat and started shouting at me. And I know of all the people I'm standing there, because there's loads of people, yeah, going in the dungeon in Ghana, the Elmina Castle. There's loads of people going. So, but I knew that it was me who was shouting at. Yeah, and it was me because I waited, I wouldn't move from the spot. All of my family, they gone in the dungeons already and leave me there. All right. I was still waiting for the man to come down the step because he was an old man. And I knew that it was me. And he was coming down the step after me. And just when he reached about 5 or 6 steps left, I just ran into the dungeon. I run into the dungeon, right? And start with
Mm-hmm.
tour. And the
Mm-hmm.
man come off Britain. The man follow me around that I was now walking through. I could go and look in everything because he was old and he was slow. And I could go and look at everything. Female dungeon, me stop and take picture. Me catch up with children, my daughter take picture of me outside the female dungeon. That time the man I come along the corridor at the end. You get me? I was able to see all of that and do it and take out all the things that we need to take out in the slave castle. And the man was still coming after me, breaking. That me had to stop and I'm now shouting at him. Please, I'm doing that slow thing, because I don't want the man to drop down on me. Out is so bad. I don't know what his problem is, but he's definitely got, "Ah!" And he's shouting, not you, not you. He's shouting that when I first went, when he first saw me. He said, no, you can't enter. You can't enter. You can't enter. So
Mm.
I don't know if it's because he recognized my royalty or if he recognized me as a slave who give him trouble when I was in there. You know what I mean? Because he might just come back as a god, same way, you know? Yeah, man, whatever. But I know that that happened. So as a result of that, I'm on my guard in when I
Yes.
travel, for these kind of spirits who come from another part. In Ethiopia, it can happen because there are many who turn against His Majesty. You see me? They can turn up anywhere. Yeah?
Yes.
Yeah, and I'm ready for them all the time. So,
That's
so, so that's what I got. I got that vibration from that person.
well. I
But
want to.
yeah,
Yeah, I
yeah,
want to again just thank the eye
yeah.
for sharing because every time and I tell people you can't come on this platform one time. We not do that around here.
No, no.
We are a family
Because
and especially with our elders that have so much to share. I mean they
we
have
have this, you see this calendar, this issue I have to tell you, sorry, just giving you another preps.
yeah
You
man.
see, we're about showing the community, the world community of Rastafari. That's why it's called Rast World. It's showing the world community what the duties, what ones are on. Progressive projects. We love to highlight them. We love to talk about them within this calendar. So ones can lend their support so they can know that this one and that one is doing something to uplift the nation. You see me? Right now, we have to big up Sizzla Kalonji. He will appear in two parts. He's the only musician in recent times that has appeared in my calendar twice, right? In the same calendar. The first time was for his support with the for the Ethiopian Orthodox Church. Yeah, see the picture there of him and Rastif again. Yeah, in Jamaica, supporting the new church that they're building. Yeah, in Jamaica, new Orthodox Church, and at the same time, we donated an advert to the St. Mary's Zion Church, which is in Ocherius, which is separate from this one, which is in Kingston, Italy, the Ethiopian Orthodox Church. So, different stories. As I said, this is the oldest picture of John the Baptist. Then we have this is the Orthodox Church in Kingston, um, the one that I went to and was baptized in and worked with the Abba. This is the Orthodox Church. They still have the black images in there. I was in Jamaica. Is it last year? For 10 days, my sister brought me to celebrate her Earth Strong. And, I had to break away and go to church. Well, actually, everybody wanted to go to the beach. Right? So me said, just drop me at the tea, but, just drop me at church. And then, yeah, I'll bring me swim things, of course, because we're coming from uptown.
Sure.
And just drop me at church and then spin round and come forward for me before we go to the beach together because they wanted to, maybe check somebody in the area and go check,
Mm-hmm.
whatever, do something else. And so, and I wanted to do that. So yeah, I went to church and I was really happy to see that the images inside the church were all black, which is not happening in Ethiopia, you see.
Yes.
So, and then I have to highlight again the Vatican, that the images inside the Vatican are black. There's no white one inside there. It's only black. Tukul Mariam, Tukul, Tikul Mariam, Tikul.
So when the image that you got, the old image of John the Baptist, how did you find that image, or where did you find it?
That was that was actually in one of the Orthodox Church libraries, yeah, library in Trinity Church, right? Because that's where the scholars develop. You know what I mean? That's where they have a university for the church, yeah.
Okay.
And inside of that, they have ancient documents, Rasta. I can't read them by translation, but His Majesty did do an amazing thing. You see, he had when he was Minister of Education for those 3 terms, he had all books, almost knowledge books, were written in 3 languages. So every book was big because he had the 3 languages corresponding, right, like
Mm-hmm.
that, and English, Arabic, and Amharic. Okay.
Okay.
So, because the Muslim population has always worked together with Ethiopia from way back in the time that Muhammad said there will never be any jihad in Ethiopia. You know
Yes.
that, right? That's the only country, no matter how much they want to get tempted and all of that, they will not be doing that, And I've seen,
They broke that oath during the time of Ahmed Gran in the 16th century.
oh, there, that was the time. No, that was 14th, 15th century, was
Yes.
1400 and something. 1400 and something. Yeah, man. While slavery was going on, that
Yes.
Muhammad gone. So what happened now? He was just killing people, just killing Ethiopians like this to convert them. And then somebody looked at him and said, "No, why kill them? It's slavery. The Portuguese are here, the French are here, the British are here buying slaves. You can sell them to them and I get money." And that's what he did. You know
Okay.
that story about that.
I don't.
30,000 Ethiopians were sold from Harar. Okay. Now, in Jamaica, let me tell you something. You see, they were sold to the British, 10,000. They were
Yes.
sold to the French, 10,000, and the Portuguese, 10,000. Till today, that Ethiopian community is still in in Brazil, in Portugal. You understand me? They're
Mm-hmm.
still there, Ethiopian community, very big Ethiopian communities. And of course, not only that, but His Majesty has also visited the country that these communities are in, on top of, as being the world monarch, most traveled monarch. Yeah. So the 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 Portuguese. So these manuscripts inside there, inside that library, that's written in the 3 languages. And there's images, pictures, photographs, old photographs, and they're in a glass case, and you're in a glass case, and a priest can sit with you and show you certain things, and that's how I got that image. I was able to take a
and
picture.
and that is part of our work. I've been saying for the longest time, one of the things I and I should do as Rastafari is have an image of the black Yeshua that we can
Yes,
give out to Christians and to churches, because that's what the Protestant and the Catholic churches do in
I'm
Africa.
telling you, man. I had my in Ethiopia, I bought that outside of Georgie's church where the coronation took place. Because in 2007, brethren, black images were still sold outside the churches.
Yes,
You hear me? Black images. And I bought mine, the Tikur Mariam, the black
yes,
images, the wood, made of wood and paint. They put the image on it and then glossed it over.
yes.
You get me? which it's actually quite simple when you think about it. I could do something like that because that's disappeared. Thank you very much, Father. Thank you, because mine just disappeared. You understand me? I took it off. I remember taking it up in my house, and it's just walked, which is there somewhere. I've searched for it. It's been a year now or more.
Wow.
But sometimes these things will happen because I've been away, you know, since I've been away from my house, from my heretical place. Everyone who come to visit me, church man, who come inside my house, tell me the same thing. It's so peaceful inside here. There's a certain there's a certain peace that's running. Jelani, Dr. Jelani from university,
Yes,
he came
yes.
and he was one of those who actually remarked like that. He was saying that and he was looking up. He said, wow. And he said, your ceiling, because I've got, you know, by the way, my house in Chechimani is only Rastaman that work on it.
Okay.
Only Rastafari. Only Rastafari that builds it. You see, that do the, okay, so the outside structural work might have had Ethiopian workmen doing all of that outside thing, right? But the inside works, like the painting of the place, the ceiling, all the roofing, all my pipe work, my plumbing work, all my, electrical work, it's all Rastafari.
Give
Yeah.
thanks.
So I made sure of that. My doors, my, those things like that, all made by Rastafari, repatriated ones. So, and I people,
I
I have,
want to I want to have you forward just to talk about Ethiopia and your life in Ethiopia because
yeah,
I love that testimony needs more amplification,
oh
because
yes, no, but we have,
we
we have a special duty to our own people,
yeah man.
you know, to
We
support our
can't leave
own people, man.
Ethiopia. We can't leave Ethiopia, although there's turmoil and they're trying to tear it apart through tribalism. We have
Oh
to
gosh,
always, have
it's
that love
it's a
there.
beautiful it's a beautiful place, man. Let me tell you something what I love. And I say it all the time. You see, an uncolonized people, brethren, is a
Mm,
whole different kind of people. I was saying that to my brethren in the same shop. I was telling the Ethiopian one come in. I tried the questions on her. She wanted two parts immediately, you know. Right. So anyway, I left her to support him. As I said, I was there to do that PR stuff with the works.
mm,
And seen him in over a year, you know. And the, 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 the fact is that not only are we reminding Ethiopians of their culture and history, but we are it. We are Ethiopian culture and history. The minute we serve in the King of Kings, man, that's the position that we are in now. We are the ones who are the true Ethiopians in that regard. You know, as long as we know in that regard that who we are, that's why I can say we're Ethiopian by blood because that's the lineage of the King of Kings that we are his chosen people. We have his
yes,
chosen children. So it's the lineage, you know what I mean? It's not just a never come see change of things. It can't work like that. You know, even even ones might, in the time trim them locks by certain tribulation or whatever, they're still holding on firm to their iris. Mind you, I always saw that it was harder for ones to still hold them iris once they trimmed. You know, it was easier to go forward into Babylon world and and get a different taste of it, if you like,
yeah,
and a feel that, and get carried away by that. There's one or two ones that I know from the 70s and coming up 80s in Jamaica who have held on to their thing like that. They might have trimmed their locks, but they certainly have more consciousness and more love for the father, more than a whole heap of ones with dagger
only
locks.
ones.
You understand me? And I
So
can name her because this to name Ellie Skelly, man. You see me? I can name
okay.
her. Yeah. You
Does
see
she
me?
identify as Rastafari?
Absolutely.
Okay, I didn't know that.
Many ones might not die, you see, you might not even know that. But you see, I knew her when the time when she was first as a journalist at GIS in the 70s, right?
Yes. Oh,
And
she's
the
legendary.
long lock, huh?
I said she is
Sorry?
legendary. She's legendary.
Yeah,
So
she had her locks in the 70s, she had her locks, man. Up until the 80s, she had her locks in the 80s, right?
I'm gonna have to
And
find her and interview her now that you let me know that.
listen to me, let me tell you something. I prayed for her in my life, brethren. You see, because the prejudice against Rastafari in Jamaica, they always having children. Yeah. Um, I had my first child born in England, but the others, we couldn't stand what we saw what I saw on his face when he was first born. And the nurses were passing him around because he was the first black child born in a maternity hospital in England. Right. It was a maternity hospital, so they give birth to thousands of children over the years. He's been there, but never had a black one before. And the
Mm.
son, so they were passing him around. They brought him to me, but he couldn't reach me because they were just cheering him and calling each other to come and look at him. And then one of the nurses held him in a way and I could see his face. And the expression on his face was one like, he was like, where am I? And I said, can I have my baby, please? Can I have my baby, please? And she said, oh, madam, we're so sorry. We're so sorry. And I explained about it. Yeah, and I took the baby. And, when I looked at him, he looked at me. He's like, huh, wow. I thought I was in the wrong place there. that same, that same youth, that same child that Mama always say, my youth this. I am
Yeah,
same one.
it's him,
Him
same
from
one.
him born. Him come powerful lad. I say, ah, what? Oh my God, thank you. Sure. And the day that Bob Marley said, "Go on to your mother," to him in the studio at Island, was when I'm standing at the door of the studio, and he's put him off his lap, and he's put him down like this, and their faces are next to each other, and I'm like, shit, excuse me language. The boy look just like the man when I meet for the first time in my life. He looked just like him. And I knew, I said it to father then, I say, yeah, man, I'm going to have trouble with this one. People are going to think, say, because he's gone and declare that he's still picnic. Hmm? First time I meeting him, and that's a connection. And then by the time I reached Jamaica and didn't tell him that he told me that I was gonna come and be his publisher, but I
Yes.
didn't tell him. It was nothing to do with him when I went to Jamaica in Fazal. It's about my life with Haile Selassie. You
Yeah.
see, it was, never mind what he had said. I was going to Jamaica to go study for my
Yes.
journey in Africa. You know, I study for my life. You know what I mean? As a Rastafari on my journey as a young
Yes.
Rastafari
Yes.
mother coming. So yeah, so there's my son. We just got a place by miracle. By miracle, I've just got a place that's kind of near uptown, right? From the ghetto, from not from the ghetto. Yeah, we was kind of staying in the ghetto, but yeah, moving around and around and around. But by miracle, I got a place. I was pregnant by like 7 months pregnant, and me who know all the time about faith and about calling on Him when in hours of need. Sometimes I make it stay so long. That's why He must come hard with me sometimes to shake me up and make me come sooner. You get me? Because the reality of saying, call on him to say, hey, it's time now for me get a place. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Yes.
Me hesitate. Me just want to go through the experiences of what it's like. You know what I mean? Because there's a whole bunch of experiences as a pregnant Rasta mother in Jamaica. We have to take the bus and, people support. One man say, get up and get it, the dreader seat now on the bus. Get up and get the dreader seat now. Yeah, the man. And me be there.
Hard.
I like this,
What?
Yeah, I mean, those kind of things in Jamaican society. It's a
sad.
sharpening thing for I
Yes,
and
sad,
I, really.
sad, sad, sad.
You know,
That,
it's
that
a
a
certain prejudicial
the
thing
man
that
could
was
even
real,
pick
real,
the
real.
utter that and not give the eye the seat. You know what I mean? That's sad.
Mm,
But
mm. But you know,
Mama,
with
go
all of
ahead.
that, miracles was happening to counter all of that stupidity. You know what I
Yes,
mean?
yes,
And so we got this place. And what I'm saying is that, you know, I was in this, we got this place uptown, and I didn't know that at the top of that road was Rita Marley's house, right? And of course, father know everything. Because the day that I went to get this property, let me tell you, brethren, I really reached the end of not having I was nesting and I
yes,
didn't have a place. You know what I mean? So it was like, yeah, it was time now, Father. It's time now, my Lord. And I said, just let me know from 19, till I start doing that from 1978, right? I just said to him, said, just tell me when you're ready, man. Tell me when to get up and go, right? Just when anytime you're ready for that person to move that person out of the way, that's gonna be an obstacle. Whenever you're ready to move them, let me know. You know, just tell me, just take me so I can wake up to it and move to it. And it's so from them time them start doing that, and I always calling him in time. So calling him about the house, and the morning come. Yes, when I check it out, I never had no money, right? Like not a red cent. And I did have a king man, like he was not at home. You know what I mean? Like it's because he was from the old school. We believe that woman couldn't be Rasta. Okay, there's those kind of things I have in my experience as a matrix, the elder one now. You have
yes,
only for them school that was going on in a couples a lot back in my day. And so, but I know that he didn't believe that really, because if you can get up and leave your family for 3 weeks at a time and don't know how they might eat and things, then you must know that Jah look after them, don't it?
yes, yes,
Right? So it's not you doing it. It's not you say you sending a money for them or sending a food for them while you're out there on the road, whatever you're up to. Right? It's not you do that. So you must know say Jah. So you must know say because of my love and my connection with them that you are denying in me. Right? So you don't want to hear nothing about when we talk about that. So you don't want to hear nothing about them. We not you know what I mean? Don't bother tell me none of your story there about His Majesty like this. But it's all good because that strengthened me. What my secret? My secret job. So there was like Elise Clay, that's what I was talking about, because there was in this position, right? In 1980. Right now, 1978, I did have I gave birth in 1978. That's when I did get the house uptown, right? The one that brought Bob Marley, because when I hear the car, my son used to play outside all the while, like this, outside of there. And I hear this car wheel screech, big screeching, like somebody jump on the brakes, and I mid say, Lord, my son. So me rush out now, only to see my son sitting in the Jeep in the passenger seat next to Bob Marley. He said, English lady, why you never tell me say you reach a Jamaica, man? Up to now, you never come check me or nothing like that. Anyway, pack a bag for my youth now, and me I go carry him go a country. Me I go a country, me I go carry him go a country. So pack a bag for him. If my son was out of the passenger seat and gone already gone pack him bag. Never mind me pack no bag for him. So that's it now. He went off with him. So all over the country, every which part him go, everybody knows say it's Bob Marley youth this, because none of him picked them by birth, never have no luck. And the one of them are Catholic.
okay,
At the time, you see me, they were all
yes,
Catholic boys and girls. So this was the one dreadlocks youth, and as I said, the face did look just like him because he was brown. He is
yes,
brown.
yes,
My children are brown, and my family is brown. Most of them, as I said before. Anyway, what I'm saying is that I give thanks to my black. Every time, every time, every time.
yes.
And yeah, man, glorifying of that. We have my genius grandpity, and she have my color. We say, what? Are you a grandbaby that? Nobody enough to ask the question. When me with when I'm with the mixed race one, them might look at me good and thing, you know what I mean? But our other ones, other grandchildren, because I've got 14,
Wow,
Okay.
congratulations.
Yeah.
Congratulations. So
So when I
we,
come, yeah.
yeah, sorry.
So yeah. So what I'm saying, let me just finish this about meeting
Yes,
Elite Kelly, because this
yes,
is
yes, yes,
important.
yes.
Because I was saying about when you want something, when you're in that position, your heart desire, you can call on him. You can write it to him. You can voice it to him, really, because he's your friend. You know what I mean? He's that friend that is not like any other. So you can say, I did have so much trouble when I was having my first child in the Jamaican hospital, man. It was such a dread situation. There was just the woman a hold on, you reach into the hospital, the nurse a hold her nose. No hold her nose. See Rasta come here, they no use the other one, And this is up at UE. You get
Wow.
me? So, I was having those kind of experiences. I'm like, oh my God, I'm having the second child being born here. No, father, you know what? I don't need to. I know that I'm pregnant. I will go there the first time. And then after that, me now go back until you're going to send another Rasta woman who's, who's in the same situation like me. You understand me? Who fed
Mhm.
up with that? Maybe had a child before and we never had a child, but no, say them prejudice around there.
Yeah.
Anyway, yes, my dear. So with that, the day came, right? When father said, yeah, time to go to clinic,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, like him tell me about the message come about 6:30 in the morning. And another time, this is another time when I had no money at all in my purse, but I know now by faith how it works. All I have to do is go there. Somebody's gonna stop. I don't even have to put up my hand to get a lift. This is Jamaica. This is a Rasta pregnant mother, and there is gonna be people stopping. And it's never been a Rasta yet. That's the
God.
next thing. Jamaica, there's never been a Rasta who's ever stopped for me as a pregnant Rasta woman. You see me? So yeah, because there's all of that going on there too, There's this underlying thing in Jamaica, with the Rastafari people. Yeah, man, them do some whole for class thing for your art if you don't mind job.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, man, it can happen easily and cliquey and classy and all of that and the wrong color and all of them something there. All them things there. Anyway, never mind all of that. What happened was that day I knew that I had to go out there and just look my best and be ready to make that look come that will person will stop. As I reach up, the man stopped. Rasta, where you going? Because I'm standing at the bus stop for half a tree. So him say, you going half a tree? I say, yes. Him say, come I can give you a ride. So boom, I got to half a tree. You have to stand at the bus stop to pop in. Rasta lady, where you going? I say, oh, I'm going to UE. He say, okay, yeah man, we can give me a go puppy. We can give you a lift, a puppy. Lift, that's two. So I'm
Mm-hmm.
there. You know, it's a short walk from there to the hospital. And
Yes.
that's what I have to do. Just tell me, say, yeah, man, you just have to take the short walk. It's good exercise for the pregnant self.
Mm-hmm.
Because how many months ago? About 3 months ago. So I was like nearly 6 months, 6 months coming up pregnant. And when I reached, man, I stood up in the doorway and I look for the Rasta woman. I look for her, man. And in those days, we used to tie our head in one way. We used to stop one way, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so, it was easy to spot I and I because it's just under and over kind of thing, you know what I mean?
Yes.
According to the length, and so on. Them time that you never really, you just use regular scarf, a certain way. And then we was using t-shirt,
Yeah.
you know? Yeah, man, we learn how to use t-shirt to wrap it up. And then,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, different things like this. The t-shirt have two sleeves, you get me? And you can put the top part over it and you have the back part is covered by the t-shirt length, yeah,
Okay.
and so on, yeah, man. That's when you coming as youth coming up as well. Right? So this was the situation that the locks. I saw the lock. Well, next there was no seat next to her, but there was an empty seat, two empty seats, like two people along.
Yeah.
So we just want to touch one of them from behind and say, can you please move up before we could have walked on the front to her, please, sir. Touch the woman from behind and say, can you, the English voice, can you please move um over to that seat here? And she looked at me like, why? And I said, I want to come and sit next to my sister. Like this. And when Mr. Some man, at least look out for me, Mr. By the time I have to walk around the front line,
Mm.
she stand up to meet me and the two of us stand up and say, I pray for you, you know. She said, no, you can't pray for me like how me pray for you. That's how we greet to one another. You
Uh,
hear me, brethren? Because while me did pray for this mother for cook for Dede, you know, that's how Sister Jack, make sure you tell me, you know, when she reach, you know, when she go, you know. And she said she did the same thing she did on, you know. And you know something, that wasn't the end of it. We said it was so beautiful because we just go when we needed to. But otherwise, we are seeing one another all the while. And you get me? All the while we are in each other company. And then, here's the thing now. I rise up this Sunday morning. It was, man, I was trying my best to go to the ISIS, you know. But that day, the baby decided to come. It was May 25th. And at 6 o'clock in the morning, I rise up in pain. And when I rise up in pain, I say, yeah, that's it, that's the baby coming. And that was the Sunday morning,
mm-hmm.
right? So at time, husband was not, as we say, husband was not around. That was
Yeah.
it. So that was me, you know. I had to get everything organized. So organize the food. I had to cook the food for the youth them. My son is the oldest one who's gonna be at home, right?
Yeah.
And then we had the 2 year old baby, right? But them not keep you long in the hospital, you know. Maybe one day, you know what I mean. If you go in the
Yeah.
morning, them want to send you out by the evening, kind of thing,
Yeah.
you know, or the next morning. You know, this is Huey I'm talking about.
Yes, yes.
The university, yeah. So
That's where I
anyway,
was born as well.
how is it? Okay, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
man. So that's it now. That's where So when so by the time it come to, let me tell you, I endured that pain for about 5 hours, right? Because what my idea was, everything was ready. I took my bath and everything, you know, prepared all the food for everyone, all of that. And the juice was there, you know, sorted out, everything like this. And the I called the taxi. Yeah, call it taxi to come. And no, it was one of my neighbors them with a car. I got check, right? And she said,
Mm-hmm.
yes, you drive. And she drive me. And, you know, so I could reach the hospital just before 12 to have the baby for 12 o'clock, right? And it was, it was, that was the Sunday, as I said, right? Well, unbeknownst to me, Elise come walking round to my house in the afternoon. That afternoon, she get the vibration to come take me, and she come by bus for a certain part, and then she come walking round to my house to come take me. By the time she reached back home, her labor pain started. The next mystic about it, we never talked about naming the children, right? And but I decided that I was gonna call mine Jazz,
Mm-hmm.
right? Call her Jazz Africa Liberation because it's come on Africa Liberation Day,
Mm-hmm.
right? And it's a prophetic thing that still I must say that in 1980 she was born. And let me tell you, Bridget, she's always been the example of African liberation. What's it name? A challenge. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
man. She's my greatest gift of what it is to have a sweet challenge. Yeah, you know, I'll just tell you quickly this little thing. So when if I want her to go right, I have to tell her to go left. I just tell you that alone. Straight. Because that's the only way she's gonna go right. You hear me? No, I'm telling you, it's worked every time for years and years and years. Or when she's in her teens, I'm still having to use that one on her. She still never pick up yet. for all her cleverness, because he got a brain like Mercury, Rasta. But anyway, yeah, but what I'm saying is that, and he started, so the next thing is that we call her Jazz, right? Belonging
Mm-hmm.
to Jazz, J-A-Z. We call her daughter Jazz. She had her son, and she called him the Jazz Man. And we
Right.
never talked about it. We never talked about it. And he was born on the 26th of May. Yeah, man. So, we were, and before we had the baby, we also met another Rasta sister in PM and joined us. And she's, yeah, man, she's still on the journey, same way. Because, it's 3 of I 9 the time
Yes.
there. Come
Yes.
to
What was
PM.
the other
Yes.
sister name?
Novelet Price, Sister Nava. Yeah, man,
Okay.
I start. Yeah, man, still me bona fide teacher. What? When me had me 58 Earth Strong 20 odd years ago, them time there, here in England, pure miracles happen, man, because, I started off as an idea, an inspiration, because I love purple, but it's my favorite color. From time. I never even knew till when I started to understand the 12 tribes of Israel as a youth in my Rasta days as a youth. Um, because I love the fellowship of the 12 tribes of Israel,
Yes.
in those
Yes.
early days, man. Because nowadays, them don't know how to function like function. I don't see that. When I go
Yes.
about 12 tribes, I don't see that kind of impression like what I used to see as a
Yes.
young Rasta. Because, you go into tribe, because, remember, it's Bob Marley introduced me to Gadman, Gadman. Come,
Okay.
did I tell you about that? I was working at Top Gun, and Bob tell me that his office is like a bedroom, film quarters. You have to pass my office to go to him quarters. I would
Okay.
be like the living room to film quarters,
Yeah. Yeah.
as you were going to, and then you have to go. Anyway, so him office really, and so everybody who come to see him at Top Gun have to pass my office. If I'm in office, then they have to pass my desk. So
Yes.
when I'm in office, we question them hard, and he loved that. Yeah, because I met Prince Emmanuel, I met Gadman, you know what I mean? All of
Yes.
the leaders of Rastafari movement coming through there, you see me, to come and see him, and as well as singers and players of instruments. But anyway, what I'm saying is that his when when Gadman come, he told me it was Gadman. He told me say Gadman was gonna come. So when he reached now, him come and he was respectful. So I showed him. I just go to the door and say Gadman is here, and he go in. He say no, come, sis. Right. So when we go in, him say, yeah, man, this is Gadman. Him say, you have anything where you want to ask him? You go ahead like that. You have anything where you want to ask him? So I say, yeah. What is the purpose of the 12 tribes of Israel? And you say, what? Hear him. Rotted. Nobody never asked me that like that yet. He said, God damn. So I said, oh, but can you answer the question? Because, I'm English lady, innit? So, can you answer the question, though? I asked him. He's like, what? And he said, yeah, the purpose of it, the purpose of the 12 tribes of Israel is to know yourself. I said, oh, I love that. Sign me up. I said, I love that. Sign me up and then I leave the room. You know what I mean? Like this. But yeah, the fellowship that they have because,
Legendary.
when you
Legendary.
go to
Legendary. Mm-hmm.
yeah, when you go amongst your tribal people, man, you get to know, you talk about yourself, you know what I mean? You get to see how yourself steer at this stage of your life. It's very much like the vision of the Empress Menen Foundation, for the youth connection. The connection always evolved and always has been still, you get the register of elders, but the evolvement is to connect them with youths, you see. So you have, for example, you have the register of elders, and everybody's got skills, You see all the Rastafari elders, everyone have skills, brethren. Them have this thing in Jamaica, them say Rasta can't read. No, that's what the JLP government bring into operation by preventing Rastafari from going to school. They
Yes.
claim that they can't read because they're not even counting that Rastafari read at home. Because those who keep them youth from going into the system with their locks right? Those they're teaching their youth to read at home. They're not the youth. Nobody now go without reading. You see me? I mean, there is some that is doing that because they're just going from one to the youth is not being paid attention to on the
Yes.
level that they should be over the time. That was something that was evident. I saw that when I first started living in Jamaica in the 70s, in the Nyabingi, so that's why I started running the Nyabingi school room. We used to do the classes them in the Nyabingi them.
Yes.
But
I think Mama Faraika told me about that too.
yes, yes, indeed. Yes, man. What? Mama Franca is my matriarch, Did you know that? She's my hero. She's the one. No, 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 seriously. Let me tell you something, brethren. When I was going to Jamaica for the first time now, this was soon after Bob, but before I get the vision of going forward to live there, I was a baller then, if you like. I just trim off me here, the compress here, right? Anyway, it's years before that, because I was in the black movement, the black power movement. So it was Afro hairstyle and all of that. I had all of that going on, right? So I was on that page of the natural liberty, like this, natural black. But when I reached so I had like a bald head. I'd shaved. That was one of the styles of my African awareness thing. But I
Yeah.
used to model scarves. I used to model head scarves,
Mm-hmm.
right? So with my bald head. So when but incidentally, I used to wear only trousers, jeans in them time there. Because the
Yes.
style was, as I was evolving, it was tight ones. So I had to lay down to put them on. And it was that's my wardrobe, brethren, right? The wardrobe is jeans or pants, right?
Yeah.
And so coming up to that, so now I was employed from Virgin. I was employed at Virgin, but I was asked by London Weekend Television to go to Jamaica to start interviews with the first set of reggae artists them in the country. It was 1976,
Yes.
1975, sorry, 1975, right? And I was asked to do that job. So now I know, you know, okay, from common sense, I already know that I'm gonna have to get somebody who's on the ground, who's in it, assisting, who's in that field to do the connections on behalf of the program. You get me?
Yes.
I don't know nobody in Jamaica. I don't, you know what I mean? At them time, I've been more out of Jamaica than in Jamaica. So, yeah. So, well, I was also, you know, I had a thought. It was so hot. I was so hot. I had one of them long drink with some wine mixture or something like that in it. The
Mm-hmm.
morning, it was about 10 o'clock, 10:30 in the morning, right? By the time I'd had that and gone though, the film crew had gone without me, right? Because you remember now, by this time I'd connected them already with the sister, right?
Mm-hmm.
So he was gonna meet them on site. So they didn't really need me to be with them, but it was like I was still trying to be like the boss, as it were, of the girl that I had employed. You know what I mean? Anyway, that I was gonna be employing, who had met it in the flesh. But anyway, go on with the trust or the reputation I heard about her from the artist them that I was talking to.
Mm-hmm.
Good. So anyway, when I put on the stage and there's nobody, I was like, okay, right, okay, so 4 seasons, there's when staying in the 4 seasons. So I said to the receptionist, okay, I need to go to 1C Oxford Road. You must
Yes.
have heard of that. You must have heard of that address, right? So my dear, um, I went to sorry, I went to So the receptionist said to me, "Oh," she said, "all you have to do is to go there and walk in that direction and pick up a taxi. There'll be taxis on the road."
Mm-hmm.
and but it
Oh
walk
yes,
along.
yes, yes. I remember this story from your first
Right.
interview. Yes, yes. That was
Yes,
a it
that's
was a
my Nana Puraika.
yes.
That was daughter Bubbles
And,
and
and,
Mama
and
Puraika.
yeah, for the
They
audience,
welcomed me to
we
Nyabingi.
talked about this in the first Askale. It's legendary. We need a Mama Askale blockbuster film, you know. We need a blockbuster film.
I'm ready. Who can play me? Well, it's all right. I got loads of
Yeah, we
ones
have
to
to get
step up.
a young, maybe a
Yeah,
young
yeah,
African
yeah,
or Jamaican actress we
yeah,
can find
man.
a
Plenty of
beautiful
them there.
Christian to play the
Plenty of
role.
them. Anytime you're ready for the project, I
Yeah,
will
man.
just talk to them.
We're
I will
we're
just
building.
talk to
We're
them.
we're building. We're
Let me just
building
send them
here.
come like this. You
That's my
just send them
vision.
like this.
Yeah. My vision is to tell Rastafari stories. You know, we need to
Yes, man.
control our narrative, but we've gone three
Absolutely.
hours. We've gone 3 hours, so
We
uh,
have
yeah, my elders
whoa,
always tell I there's no end to reasoning in Mount Zion, only continuation. So
whoa.
I'm gonna probably put this into two parts. You know, I'll have one part
Okay.
about the calendar and the trivia, and then one part about the history. But
All
the but I'm telling the eye that it is a treat, it's an honor. I want to give the opportunity to just say
right.
a feeling sound. Just give us a
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Because I didn't even talk much about the Pan-African. I was telling you, Ras McConnell was the foreign minister for Emperor Menelik, and in
yes.
1900, after he'd been to Europe a few times, he'd met the brother called William from Trinidad. Ras McConnell, he'd met the Trinidad brother. He met the other brother from there. He knew about this is the, so in 1900, Emperor Menelik commanded Ras McConnell to organize the first Pan-African conference in Ethiopia. He was, when he organized that, in connection with. Remember, say Ethiopia had the first telephone in the whole continent of Africa. Did you know that?
The first one?
Did you know that? Telephone.
Oh
Yeah, man.
yes, yes.
In the Marcus Garvey poem, he write about that, about Ethiopia having in 1922, right? So they have telephones. So Ras McConnell is calling Williams, he's calling all over the world, as foreign minister, Ras
Okay.
McConnell. And so he's organized, he's talked to Williams, he's talked to all those founding fathers, he know them, he talked to them um, about the conference in 1900. The first Pan-African conference was planned in Ethiopia, and it is amongst the documents inside of the Trinity Church Library, and this new book of palace information. There's a new book out,
Okay.
Sister Julia Bonacci, who wrote the Exodus book, the book about repatriation. By the way, the item should really, that book is amongst the books here published. Yes, it's there, Exodus. And see there, there's Bob Marley in the front, of it. It's now in English. It was first in French. It's in French with
Okay.
them. The book is called Exodus, Movement of Jah People, and it's all about repatriation. See there? It's
Okay.
all about repatriation. There's Bob Marley and Still Cool on the cover. Yeah, man. So that book, profound. This is a document of Rastafari. Hey, by the way, everyone should have a copy of that. If you want to know about repatriation and what that is a
Yes.
study in repatriation. In fact, it was done as a textbook for university students who are studying repatriation
Okay.
and black liberation. Yeah. And she lived in Ethiopia and to write in Sheshemani. She lived for 2 years so she could interview all the people in the book, all the founding fathers of Sheshemani who came there, all the original patriarchs, you understand me, of Sheshemani, man and woman. She talked to all of them in that book.
Okay.
This time. So she's now the one that they called upon her to come as a doctor of Rastafari books and knowledge and stuff by the French government. she was one time in Ethiopia as working for the Alliance Francaise, and she did some incredible work, as a Rasta because she brought, she got the Alliance Francaise to pay for Rastafari to come from Shishimani with all their crafts and put on exhibitions, man, in Addis and make all the white people, them and uptown people come buy the thing, them Rasta. It was beautiful, man. That was beautiful work, Rastafari. No, you hear
Yes.
me? Testimony, them we get that exposure for our things. At that place, I was selling dog books. I was selling chocolate from Switzerland. I was selling, I was selling, you know what I mean? It was like, things would come in to come, things would come at the time for me to sell them to make money for the project, the things them we have to support and the movements. Yeah. So the problem, 2 years of success in every Rastafari from testimony, man. It give them an incentive, my brethren. You hear me? If you're
Yes.
singers, because there's a big reggae concert going with it as well. The whole thing. It's like, she commanded the whole space of the Alliance Francaise. So you have reggae concert, you have art and craft, you have food people, you have, what I mean, everything that is Rastafari knowledge and culture is in the place, an exhibition and sale, and people make money for them. And you can put the price up because, it's foreign people, mostly white people and stuff like that. And we are the people who know the most, at h.i.m, the most with white people, we who have repatriated
Mm-hmm.
because they're in our countries. You see what I'm saying?
Yes.
They're in our countries not visible. We are in their countries not visible. We actually,
Yes.
you know. But yeah, yeah. So she used to do this, just the great work, but it was thwarted by one of I and I who through jealousy, man. They say one sister get jealous and she writes one big old dirty letter to the whole Alliance Francaise about how this woman exploit Rastafari and black people no want her. She tell like she talk to the whole of I and I, what? Them bona fide, that person can't come and say, she man.
Mhm.
He cannot be don't, you know what I mean? There are
Yes.
people
Well,
like that. Anyway,
what I
but
what
what I'm
I
saying is that, yeah, because
yes.
she's the one who edited that book. Sorry. She's the
Yeah.
one who's edited that book of that found of Palace photograph where the
Oh,
McConnell picture is inside there. The reverse McConnell picture is
yes.
inside there because it's a book of Palace photographs. And it
Yes.
has a lot of, so and it's been, it was being sold. I didn't get a copy of it yet, but the Exodus book, I certainly have that. That is definitely one for, and I'm, I want everyone to know about it. That's why I put it inside the birth and rebirth because
Yes.
there's information there. Yeah, it's wonderful because Tafari McConnell in his 5 years as Minister of Education, he did some great work, the Emperor, because that's why he put himself in that position because education is the key. We all know that, we
Yeah,
know that,
man.
and we talk the thing, but we don't live. We have to live the thing, we have to live the education. And in Ethiopia, we get an opportunity to live the education. You understand me? To live the liberty is education. It's everything, every movement, everything you say, everything you do. You're in that spotlight of living the education of Kilimawe Haile Selassie without fear, because that's how you're going to be looked. That's how the people are looking at you, with that expectation, that you're going to be telling them something about their history and their culture. Other people might see something different when the people look at them, but that's what I see. And that's what I rejoice in because for me, it's just to make them smile. You know what I mean? Make them smile in their knowledge and they're recapturing and they're reminding of them of their history and culture, they're reworking of it. Just come up with a little thing, you know, and say, and say, oh, the story of John the Baptist, or the story of the crucifixion, you
Yeah.
know, he was between two thieves.
Yeah.
Right. It's between two thieves. So,
Yes.
Ethiopia is like that. Ethiopian
I,
history. Think about it. You know what I
yeah.
mean?
I
Yes.
I want to just give thanks for everything that they I do, everything that they I represent.
Oh, It's all about His
Yeah,
Majesty.
no, it's an
It's
inspiration.
love.
If you see the eye still so active on the battlefield, and so animated with life and the irids of the Most High, it really is an inspiration. I know many who watch this are gonna be likewise inspired. And I don't
Yes, sir.
want the item to just be inspired. I want the item to reach into your pocket and spend the money,
Right, give
buy the
thanks. Give
calendar,
thanks.
and
Yeah,
let
man,
us
get inspiration in
let
the
us get
calendar.
1,000 people from watching this interview to
Yes,
spend the money and $25,
pray.
and we get the calendar, and we get a report say this calendar sell off, and we need to
Ready.
expand with
I'm
more
ready
staff,
when you are.
more budget, and we can get them buzzwords there in our vocabulary as a people.
Yes,
We want to build institutions that can employ our young people. Until we can employ our youth, we will lose our youth. I keep saying that,
mm-hmm,
and I want us
mm-hmm,
to get that in our mind. There's no community
mm-hmm.
on the planet that sends out their youths to fend for themselves.
Yeah,
Black people
that's a
alone.
good thing.
Black people
Mm-hmm.
alone are the ones that send our youths out to get jobs from other communities. And we don't have institutions in our own communities to take on our youth. So we're changing that. We're breaking
Yes,
that,
sir. We
and
have to.
start by empowering the elders who are still active on the battlefield, still full,
Yes, sir.
sharp mind, fully active, doing nana
Yes, sir.
duties, and then come do 3 hour interview and still ready. You know what I mean? After the full day,
Yes,
working
sir.
the hours in the
Whoa. I didn't
UK.
even know so the time gone so fast.
Well, I tell you, because you're in the
I'm
time
praying for
machine,
it,
the
sir.
Asian African Lion Talk time machine will do that. But family, stay tuned. This is part 2, part 3, part 4, part 5 is coming. We're not gonna
To the
stop.
powers of the Most High. To the powers of the
Yes, to the
Most High.
powers of the Most High.
Ready,
We're
ready.
building a community, and this is a
Yes,
story in
sir.
progress. This great return,
Yes,
the
to
great gathering of I and I people,
the
the great
Yes, sir.
repatriation, redemption, fundamental freedom, sovereignty, food sovereignty, all these things that we chant for from them time. This is the hour for us
This
to
is
make it
our
manifest. So give thanks,
the
Mama
lion.
Askale. We'll have the
And yeah,
information
the
and the link.
lion.
Yeah, we'll have the link for the calendar in the description as well. We'll put
Yes,
it in the
I.
description.
Oh, yes, I. For sure.
Yeah,
The
so
light, the
the
Empress
can
Foundation.
just,
WhatsApp. I've got a couple of WhatsApp numbers.
yes,
Can I read those out? It's on the back of the thing. You put it in the
yes,
link for
and
sure.
I can put those in the description as well for
Yes,
WhatsApp.
I. Plus
Yeah,
251. That's Ethiopian number.
yes,
Plus
yes.
251. That's the code. Okay. So once you see that, 916 136 182. That's one number. 251 916 136 182. 251 916 136 182.
Hmm.
That's one number. The other number, 251 922 76. Oh, sorry. 437600. 251 922 437600. 251 922 437600.
Okay.
I'm waiting. That would be such a beaut. That's WhatsApp. So it's free. So call me. Highly blessed.
Give
Rastafari.
thanks. Give thanks.
Always
Yeah,
worthy, okay? Just
and
talk to him and
yes,
get it.
and
Honorable.
you
Bless
know the
peace.
fullness family. The Ancient is here, I and I is here. We're doing the work. We're not gonna stop. Why? Because the time has come for the lions to tell our own story. And this is the lion's voice.
Lion voice.
Well, great is the Almighty, and greatly
to be praised in the city of Haile Selassie I, the mountain of his holiness.
Yeah, from Cape to Cairo, from Timbuktu to the Nile, you know, the whole entire continent.
Beautiful for situation, the joy of the whole earth is Mount Zion, from Accra to Addis Ababa.
Yes, it's beautiful continent, better control, Mama Africa.
Very beautiful.
From Cape to Cairo, from Timbuktu to the Nile, I smile for Mama Africa.
I hear you call Mama Africa. Been so long since I see Mama. Father of Africa set the law. The lion come and dismantle Babylon flaw. We gonna use solar energy, use sanitation to build the ecology. We utilizing green technology. We hailing Haile Selassie first without apology. And then we build the youth them economy. We dismantle Babylon monopoly. We teach the youth them how to live properly. Tell them make sure them got the title for them property.
Yes, this beautiful continent, better control, Mama Africa. From Cape to Cairo, from Timbuktu to the Nile, I smile for Mama Africa.
I love you, Mama, your heart never harden. I wanna turn all your slums into garden. I wanna stop all of your youths from starving. I wanna stop all of your tribes from warring. So much to say, so many feelings. We've both been hurt, we both need healing. Since the League of Nations you've been appealing. You stand up against them backdoor dealing.